Okay, so today we're diving into a really tough story. It's out of Corinna, Maine. A 3-year-old boy found dead in the snow.
Yeah, a tough one for sure.
We found this report from News Center, Maine on YouTube, and, well, it's heartbreaking, but there are some things that just don't sit right, just some details that really make you think.
Absolutely. When a young child dies, especially like this, there are always so many questions.
Totally. Like the report says the boy was reported missing from his home, but it was actually his dad who found him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he was just a short distance away, already in the snow.
So close to home.
Right. It makes you think about how long he was actually missing and what could have happened in that short amount of time.
That's the thing, right? The proximity to the home is a huge piece of the puzzle. It kind of suggests maybe the child wasn't missing for very long at all.
Yeah, maybe he just wandered off, you
Yeah.
know, rather than someone taking him.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder about the family's routine, too. Would a 3-year-old normally be outside alone at that time of day? What was going on there?
Right, right. Like, what's the context we're not getting from this initial report?
Yeah.
And then there's the suspected cause of death, exposure. It's chilling how quickly things can go wrong, especially with a little kid who doesn't really understand how dangerous the cold can be.
No, absolutely. It's easy to forget how vulnerable they are to the elements. I mean, we don't have the autopsy results yet, but pointing to the winter weather makes sense. It's a harsh reminder for everyone, especially parents.
Definitely. This case is a tragic example of that.
Yeah.
It's just, it makes you think about things we often take for granted, like the challenges of rural communities. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Help might be further away, neighbors might be more spread out, and that isolation, can be a factor we don't always think about.
That's a really good point. The isolation of rural life can absolutely affect how quickly people respond and even how aware they are of potential dangers. It adds another layer to this whole thing, doesn't it?
It does. And then there's this statement from the Maine Department of Public Safety. They're saying there's no public safety concern, that this was an isolated incident.
Hmm.
Just feels a little premature, you know, given how much we don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, I think we have to remember that this is probably based on their initial findings. It's possible they haven't seen anything that suggests, foul play or a threat to the wire community.
Okay, that makes sense.
Of course, the investigation is still going on, but that statement from the Department of Public Safety seems to indicate their focus is on figuring out what happened to this little boy specifically.
Yeah, it's a deeply sad case. I can't imagine what this family is going through.
It's awful.
We'll definitely keep an eye out for any new developments in the investigation, but this definitely leaves us with a lot to think about.
It does. Those hours before he was found, how he ended up outside, those are the big pieces investigators will be trying to put together.
Thank you for listening to Justice for the Souls podcast.